Hello all and welcome to another video in my journey to 1 million Gamerscore, and November is now done, so it's time to bring to you November part 2. So what did I do? I tried to theme it a little bit. In the first half of the month I played racing and car games, so I continued that and we kind of have a part 2 of racing and car games on the 360 because 360 stuff does take a bit longer. And then we rounded the month off with a couple of completions and one of them being super easy. So let's go to the games and crack on and show you what indeed I did get at the end of November. And if you remember at the end of November part 1, I was playing these two games here, and in SBKX I did just nab a few more achievements in it, and a couple of them were really easy. I just hadn't got round to doing them. So reach all podium positions at least once in simulation in quick races, so crank that down to the lowest difficulty. Had a go and won the first race, and then tried to hang behind first place, won the, to get second, and then did the same in getting third, and lose at least 100 reputation points in career mode. Now that I had got all the career mode achievements that I'd wanted to get without playing 8 seasons, which I just don't think I'm going to do because of the time. But yeah, all I kept doing was getting to the race and then pressing start and quitting the race, and every time I would do that I would lose some points, and eventually I lost 100, and then I got to lose 100 points in career mode achievement. Create a rider in arcade simulation, choosing face number 6, and then we got above it, we got create a rider called Mr. Macaco or Macaco, not quite sure the pronunciation of that. As you'll see, 30G and 15G, so 45G for doing that. They are actually both secret achievements, so when I looked it up I just created another rider, called him that, threw on face number 6 out of the 6 options, easy 45G there. Sustain enough injuries to force your rider into retirement in career mode. So again, career mode was over, so when I was doing the lose the rep points, another thing I was doing was then turning the injuries back on to real, and then the only way I could actually get him to get injured again was what I learnt in the previous one of these games, was to turn around and wait for the pack to come round and then hit someone head on. And eventually, if you do it in about 2 or 3 races, I think you get enough injuries to go into retirement. Or I think that actually just means in 1 race. Sorry, I take that comment back. So yes, you only have to do it once. And then total bite in career mode. So again, in a race I just kept driving into walls until I got to the point of where I totaled the bike and was forced to retire from the race through that method. So yeah, a couple of easy achievements just to nab there as well. They are still considered rare, but they're only just under 10%, as you'll notice. And then in a quick race, take disqualification and simulation. So I put a few more laps on because I've been doing 1 and 2 lap races for time, because I wanted to make sure I got enough disqualifications, and I picked a track with hairpins and sharp corners so that I could cut the corners, get a warning, and eventually I'd get enough warnings to be disqualified and nab that. So picked up a little chunk more out a bit after starting in the first half of the month, and have left it on 550 for now. And I say any game that hasn't got a completion that there is more offline achievements that I can get always has the potential to be returned to. Okay, so yes, I was also playing Zombie Pinball last month, and we played some more of this as well. And you have to just get points to unlock the table, so I was indeed always just going to keep playing the tables until I got there. The first one is great for just getting the bloody points that you need to unlock all the tables. You have to get 150,000 to unlock all the tables. So I was just going to keep doing that, and I was trying to get one of the other achievements which actually failed. I'll show you that at the bottom in a second, in hoping that I could get that at the same time as going for this. So complete 10 snipers, that was skill shots, and that just unlocked without me really knowing that I was getting it or going for it. And I must have got 10 eventually, but that took a long time to get. I played a lot of the game for me to eventually get that. And some of the tables that I didn't unlock I was able to finish, but as you'll see, these are all low percentage, so you need a little bit of skill, quite a bit of luck as well with the way that ball rolls on some of the tables. They're a little unforgiving, so I was able to do 4 of the tables, as you see on the 15th there, so it's halfway into the month. And then the achievement that I was going for, I haven't even tried the bloody challenges. There's the 2 tables that I couldn't do, Hellfire and Werewolf, so I may return to this game and give them a bash, but make look at that score total there, 100 million, wow. And yeah, that's difficult. I got to 50 million off 1 ball and I thought I might stand a chance, but nah, nowhere near. So unfortunately I was unable to get that, but as you'll see, it's a low percentage to unlock, so it's not easy. But I may return to this in trying to at least beat these 2 tables at some point. We'll see. Okay, above that, Need for Speed The Run. Now, I want to get through a few games, so I thought to myself, with Need for Speed The Run, that I would play The Run and see how well I would do. I played it on one of the easiest difficulties, so I wouldn't spend too long doing it. Took me about 4 to 5 hours, I would say, to complete the run. There are 10 achievements just for finishing the 10 stages, so that was nice and easy. One for beating the run, so when you finish stage 10 and finish the run, you kind of unlock 2 achievements at once. There is an achievement for completing it on the hardest difficulty or extreme difficulty, but you need to complete it at least once to unlock that. So with the skill that I've got in racing games and driving games, I probably will not go for that. And then I picked up 2 other achievements, which was one which was for reading the newsfeed. There's nothing in the newsfeed, but you open the tab up and it was still unlocked. And one for taking a photo in the photo mode, which you have to pause and go into. So that was the 455G that I got out of that. And as I say, it took around about 4 to 5 hours to get through the run and do that. There are other achievements for doing these time trial kind of mode things, where, you know, getting gold medals in all of them in all the areas. As I say, I'm not great at racing games. I could probably nick the bottom couple if I put some time and effort into it. But at the same time, so I just want to play a few games. Just wanted to move on. So that's what I did, and I must admit I can actually recommend Need for Speed The Run as actually a really good entry into the franchise. It is only let down by these awful QTE events in the middle of a couple of the stages. I mean, really, no, they ruin it a little bit, but they don't ruin it enough to not make it a good game for what it does give you with the actual driving aspects of it. But if you're doing those quick time events, you don't have, when it gives you the button prompt, just keep tapping it. It wants you to press it exactly the right moment, but if you keep tapping it, it doesn't do you for pressing it too early. But yes, I really like Need for Speed The Run, just minus those QTEs. Then I played Test Drive Unlimited. I've got both of them, but I thought I'd play the first one for a bit. Very large open world map on this. So I just did a few things. We're going to have to go into it just to jog my memory a little bit. The one thing I was always going to do is just drive for 200 miles until I got that achievement, so I can move on from that. 25G achievement's not too difficult. Owning 4 cars and 2 houses is towards the lower end of the amount you need. As you see, there's 2 there as well. These missions, yeah, once you're starting out, they're not too difficult, so doing 3 of those wasn't too difficult. There's clothes shops. You get vouchers from doing the missions rather than doing the races, so if you get enough vouchers you can buy clothes, so that was one of them. There's also ones for doing Ben Sherman clothes, but for some reason I couldn't find those, or they're just not open to my character. Every time you do a race and you win it, you'll get a gold cup, so covered that. And obviously I went for the 200 miles, got 30 miles along the way, 5 cups, win the gold cup in 20. I must be on 17, I can't be far off that. So again, this is another game that I might return to and dip in and out of and pull a few more achievements out of, because you've got things like 40 and 60 and like that. So the more you buy cars, and that, there's obviously more achievements for buying a higher quantity of cars, buying a higher quantity of houses and things like that. But I probably put around about, because when I was buying cars, the different cars, and I needed some more money, I picked one of these races that was very short and very easy for me to win, and it offered me 10,000 coins every time I won it. So I kept doing that race over and over again to afford a second house and to afford a 4th different car. So I did that, and that put a little bit of time into it. Also helped towards the 200 miles. And then once I'd bought the 4 different cars, I then went on my 200 miles drive around until it eventually unlocked. So yes, a lot of fun. Actually, really good game. Actually, very, as I say, very, very big open world. If you like your open world driving games, then I highly recommend this one. But yes, that's where about 5-6 hours I think I put into that probably. Then I thought I'd give Juice 2 Hot Import Nights a bash. Only 25G out of this, not a lot at all. A lot of the achievements for promotions in leagues in the offline mode, so League 7 and 6 I got there, you have to have a specific car to go into them. Complete all rookie goals, that was in obviously League 7, they were all set out and it tells you what to do there, so I knew I could get that, nip that one out of it. And that was it. It has an online mode which isn't actually dead, but there's just no one playing it. So knowing how easy it was to get out of League 7 in offline mode, I thought I'd do it in online mode, and you can actually create a game. If you can't find a game, I doubt you'll find a game, there's just no one playing it unless you actually set it up. Find someone online, find an achievement forum, someone that still wants to hunt down this game and go for it, then you're not going to find anyone to play with. But as I say, you can set up your own game and go into it like that, and you'll go up against bots, and then you'll probably easily get promoted from League 7. Still a rare achievement, which I find hard to believe. as it was actually not that difficult after I started creating my own games. But there we go. So just only 25G out of this one. There's a lot in it that's going to take a long time, and there's a lot of online type achievements. But it is a fun game actually. So I probably will return to this, because one thing I like to do is try and leave all my games on 3-digit amounts at least now. So I'm not so much of a completionist as I used to be, or have at least a high quantity of achievements or game scores out of a single game. I'm quite happy now to play a game, get as much as I can out of it and move on. But one thing that bugs me a little bit is if it doesn't at least say 3 figures now. So I will probably try and return to that and get it over at some point. Gears Pop I've been playing, but I haven't added anything to. So I will keep playing that and keep plugging away, and hopefully unlock some of the lengthier ones, which is what I've got left now. Next up, Project Gotham Racing 3. I've been looking forward to trying this one for a while, so I just need a bit of a memory jog here as well. Decided to go on Bronze, which is easy. And then there's Novice Blow, which is still champion. So there's Novice, Easy, Medium and Hard. So I went for just playing on Easy to get through it, because there are 22 championships, which I finally found out about, and you have to win every race or meet the targets. Some targets are just third on Easy in order to progress, and on Easy it is actually really easy. There was only one drift one that made me do a few attempts, but apart from that I really did whiz through it, and it wasn't that bad at all. And then when you eventually earn enough points and credits, you can buy every Ferrari in the game for an achievement, which is nice and simple. And then once you bought every Ferrari in the game and you've unlocked the achievement, you can then sell them all, except for I eventually bought the most expensive car in the game, which was a Ferrari, and the fastest car, which obviously helped me along the way as well, by the way. And then I bought all the other Ferraris as well, and then what I did is, once the achievement unlocked, I sold them all and then started working on the Lamborghinis. had enough credits, because I did it after I'd finished 18 of the championships. So I then whizzed through all the Lamborghinis, found a list online of the ones you need to buy, bought all them again once the achievement unlocked, sold them all again because I kept my super fast Ferrari. That list I would recommend looking up online, because there are some in the achievement description on the 360, but not all of them. So look it up. Need to know which cars you want to buy, but the most expensive car is 1.25 million. There we go. Get your words out, Rob. And that's the most expensive car, which is a McLaren F1. All the others are relatively cheap. However, I fell just a little bit short after all my buying and selling. Once I'd got to Championship 22, I then had enough before I'd finished that, and I just nipped into it, bought the last car. Again, another easy 45G achievement, but you can buy and sell, so that will help you. Again, take photographer. I think that one is not got the description there very helpfully in this case, but it's to take a picture in all locations. So one in London, one in Tokyo, one in the 2 American places, one in the Nürburgring, like that. Again, all you got to do is take the photo, just save it. The Nürburgring you don't come across, I think, until the later championship, so don't panic if you keep taking photos and wondering why it's not unlocked. Track builder, great. Go into the track builder mode, press random, forget which button it is, then save. Do that 10 times. Easy as that. Explore your garage. There are 2 games in the garage. They are both Geometry War games. It will take you out of the game to play it, and then you'll have to load the game up again from the dashboard. But once you do that with both games, when you enter the game again, you will unlock the achievement for playing both the arcade games in your garage. Just go into your garage and go into free roam mode. You will find them against the wall in your starting one. So in me playing the game, rank 10 will pretty much be the first achievement you unlock, because as soon as I finished the first race I was at rank 10. Rank 10 is the lowest rank. By doing a full playthrough, I think I'm up to rank 7, not far off rank 6. Ranks 5 and 1 are both achievements as well. There are a few online achievements, that's the word, in this game, and unfortunately the server is well and truly dead in this, so unfortunately you won't be able to get those. But doing those 22 championships, wow, they took a long time. They took a very long time indeed to put a time span on it. It took me 2.5 nights, and each night I played for about 4 or 5 hours. So yeah, probably about 8 to 10 hours is a good bracket if you do it on easy, and which causes you not to lose as many. So if you do it on the high levels, it's going to take you a lot longer, I would imagine, because you're not if you're like me and not very good at racing games, you're not going to pass everyone first time on the higher levels. But I might return to it and try and get to rank 5 and just play a game, because it's a really good racing game actually, and you can pick it up for next to nothing for like 50p nowadays. So I actually really highly recommend Project Gotham Racing 3. I've played 4 as well. I can highly recommend that one. 2. So above it is the super easy completion of the month. Thank you Ratalaika Games, who are synonymous for the easy completions. This one being no different. I looked at the achievement list, and the longest achievement I worked out was basically for finishing 20 levels. Pretty much if you're just focusing on getting to level 20 and finishing, you're going to unlock everything else along the way. You have to defeat 3 types of enemy. You just have to jump on their heads to do that. That's not difficult. They will pop up all before level 20. You have to get 3 stars in a level. You'll probably do that in the first one. You have to get all these gems in the level to then be able to exit the level. That's the main priority. You'll see the little picture of a purple gem under his arm there in the thumbnail. That's what you're looking to collect. There's cherries in the level as well, but they're to do with buying things. So you need to buy 1 item as well from the shop. You'll be able to do that easy because there's cherries absolutely everywhere. There's one for getting 100 cherries as well. It really is an easy completion. You won't even need an hour to finish this one. I think some people are even reporting doing it in under half an hour. So super easy completion. Ratalaika Games really do strike again. And then finally above that you will see Tracks, the train set game. Now this is an easy completion, but you'll still have to put a little bit of time into it. Now it's part of Game Pass, which is why I've done it. I must admit I'd begrudgingly pay what they're charging for it if it wasn't part of Game Pass. So I was able to use it because of Game Pass, so thank you very much. I saw one of the guide people that I used, one of the very first guide person that I used, and that was a Mako91, put a video up for this. His video runs about 15 minutes long, but it will take you a bit longer than that. Some people can do it under an hour if they get the knack of the controls and the stuff like that. For me it took just over an hour because, going to be totally honest with you, I picked the last 300 Gs up in the earlier hours of this morning because I had an hour before I was due to go out last night, and I thought I could knock it out in that time, but I got a little bit confused with my hands and I kept pressing the wrong buttons when making the tracks and the controls, so it took up more time than it should have done, and I had to go out. So I just nicked the last 300 and I nailed it. I finally got putting the starter point down, the platforms in the modes that I needed to do, down to a fine art, and I absolutely wish for that last 300G this morning in no time at all. But it will take you roughly about an hour if you use Macca's guide. I'm going to put a link to the guide specifically in the description actually, because it is really good. It gives you all the info you need. I say it only runs 15 minutes, but it'll take you about an hour, I would say, or it took me just over an hour because I had a bit of trouble getting with the controls. Teach you a little trick about putting platforms and start points and not needing to build all the track that you would normally need to build and then take hours to do the completion. But yeah, follow that guide, listen to his advice. It is bang on advice, and he advises that you do it sooner rather than later because they may update this game and add more things to do with the passenger mode which you need to finish, or they may even patch the little trick that you do. So at time of recording obviously it works because I finished it off this morning using the trick, but if they do an update and they patch it, it may not work, so be careful. However, I'm going to link I'm going to link the exact guide that he's posted in the description below. Highly recommend it, as I do with all his guides. I still do call him my guide guy. If he puts a guide out for a game, there's a good chance that I will be comfortable enough to buy it and then use his guide to get the completion out of it. So highly recommend his guides, highly recommend subscribing to his channel as well. So yes, Train Tracks, the train set game is the last completion of November / a couple of hours into December, and that is it for November. So ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank you for watching. If you have any questions about any games, please put it in the comment section below. I do reply to all comments. I hope you liked the video. I just want to thank you again for watching, and as always, take care.